This is the Viofo A329S dash camera review. We will have daytime footage, nighttime footage, telephoto footage, fisheye interior camera footage. We will go over current draw, fully explain the parking mode options, including the new features like hybrid parking mode and Viofo's low power impact detections, differences between using an Hk4 and HK6 hardwire cable, multiplex video, and more. Let's go. The Viofo A329S is by far the most versatile dash camera available on the market. No other dash camera that I can think of can do what the Viofo A329S does. You can configure this dash camera in approximately 11 different setups. Basically, if you can imagine the setup you want, you can build it. So the main unit, the Viofo A329S, can be programmed in 4 different firmwares. You can buy it already programmed from Viofo or directly from us at Safe Drive Solutions, where we will program it for you. Or you can do it yourself and choose the following firmwares of A329S, 329T, 329WW, or the 329TC. This gives you the flexibility to add a telephoto or fisheye interior camera, or maybe 2 waterproof cameras if you're a commercial truck driver. If you can imagine your perfect 3-channel dash camera configuration, this dash camera will allow you to build it. It's like you pulled up to McDonald's and Viofo asked if you want fries with that, giving you all the options in the world. So why do you want the new Viofo A329S? The Viofo A329S has a new feature that no Viofo product has ever had. It now has low power impact detection. This parking mode features very low power consumption, preventing battery drain. When the vehicle is turned off, the camera switches to standby mode. Once detecting an impact, it will wake up in about 2 seconds and start recording for 1 minute. It captures theft, hit and runs, and other incidents to safeguard your car with vital evidence. Now, we've all seen how the Vioroid does and how the Thinkware U3000 does in terms of quick impact detection. I've also tested the Vantrue N4 Pro on the channel, as well as the 70Mi A810. And I've also tested the Red Tiger F77. But the biggest problem with most of these other dash cameras is they take way too long to wake up, minus the Thinkware and Vioroid products, which are very quick wake up on any impact detection. So does the Viofo actually come to the table and wake up within 2 seconds? And is the current draw actually respectful? Let's find out. Okay, we have the control camera in the bottom right corner. The Viofo A329S top right, Thinkware U3000 top left, and Vioroid D21 4K bottom left. And we're going to make an impact with the basketball. U3000 wakes up in 1.08 seconds, A329S 1.59 seconds, and the Vioroid D21 4K at 2.16 seconds. This is quite remarkable. The Viofo is finally in the impact detection game when it comes to dash cameras. Hybrid parking mode. The brand new Viofo A329S has an industry first new hybrid parking mode. And you might be wondering, what is this? Does it mean it works with my hybrid vehicle? What is it going to do for me that's different than any other parking mode? So first, let's actually dive into what the industry standard is for parking modes. Well, when we actually look at the majority of dash cameras, most of them actually have motion detection, time lapse, and some dash cameras on the market like the Viofo, ThinkWare, FineView, and a few others have what's called low current draw impact detection mode. So let's differentiate these. So motion detection means that if there's any movement around the vehicle, it will record and write that video directly to the event folder. Time-lapse will constantly record at a low frame rate, typically anywhere from 1 to 10 frames per second, depending on the actual dash camera. And if we look at low bitrate recording just takes down the bitrate to save space, so it's not as good video quality, but it's constantly recording at 30 frames per second. And then the impact detection, the way impact detection works is basically it goes into a sleep mode, and if your vehicle is hit, it wakes up and starts recording. Now, some dash cameras on the market do a really terrible job in this mode, and if you want to check out this video here where we actually test all the different impact detections on the market, the hybrid parking mode, it is actually going to merge these normal parking modes with the new low current draw impact detection that Viofo's A329S now has. And this is actually a very big breakthrough because most of our customers, we tell them if you're going to use like motion detection or time lapse or low bit rate or one of these types of parking modes, we recommend not really going longer than 3 hours just because of the amount of current draw. So typically, most of these dash cameras draw anywhere from 250 to like 500 milliamps of current, which is actually quite a bit, while the impact detection is as low as 30 milliamps on the actual Viofo dash camera. So what could happen now is, let's say you're only worried about maybe when you go for coffee, you go shopping, you go out and eat at a restaurant, maybe you only want to have it set for 1 to 2 hours. Well, now in this mode, you can go and set a cutoff timer. And you can set the cutoff timer for, say, 2 hours. And now it will record in that normal low bit rate, time lapse, or auto event detection for the first 2 hours. After that 2-hour mark hits, it now drops down in current and is just waiting to see if there's any impacts. And why this is a big deal is because a lot of people want it to record overnight, but they don't want to invest in a battery pack because a battery pack is usually, anywhere from like $400 to $500, plus installation if you're not installing it yourself. It kind of racks up the bill quite a bit. So now you can actually have it set for 2 hours or an hour or 30 minutes because it is a Viofo dash camera, all the way up to 48 hours. And after it's done that mode or that timer, it will actually switch right over to the low current draw impact only mode. And especially think about this. Maybe you're someone in Vancouver or New York or somewhere else where you park directly on the street. Now it will wake up and record if there's an impact after a certain set time. So let's see how we have to go through and set this up.
Okay, let's go into video settings. And we're going to scroll down to parking recording and go to vehicle battery protection. So you have to actually set a cutoff time or a cutoff voltage. So you could set for like say 2 hours and then do like a cutoff voltage, right? So the cutoff voltage, if it drops below that set cutoff voltage, then it will go into the low power impact detection. And this is how hybrid parking mode works. So you can either do it off cutoff voltage or you can do it off cutoff time, which means after it passes that cutoff time, it will actually go into low power impact detection. So I can go back. Keep in mind, the cutoff voltage is only available on the Viofo HK6 hardwire cable. The cutoff voltage is not available on the HK4. So now if I go to parking mode, I can actually select hybrid parking recording. And I have a test firmware on here, which allows you to do a lot more than what you normally seen in our videos. So there's going to be some new exciting things coming out where you're going to have more options, like with all the different time lapses instead of just a set time lapse like before, low bit rate and event detection. I like low bit rate, so typically I'm going to select low bit rate. And what's going to end up happening is, like I said, after the 2 hours or after the low current of 12.4, it will actually go into the low power impact detection. So that's actually how you set the hybrid parking mode.
One channel started.
Have you ever been driving with your dash camera and you wished you could actually just show the front, rear, and interior camera all as one, interlaced as one video? Instead, what you have to do is you have to log in to your dash camera, download the separate front videos, download the separate rear video, download the separate interior video. Well, guess what? What if I told you you didn't have to wait anymore and you could download one seamless video in the new multiplexer mode on the Viofo A329S? Imagine you're an Uber driver and you're trying to display this story of how you were driving and something was going on in the interior or behind you. And now you could download the video and it will show all three aspects at the same time in one video file, making it way easier for you than ever before. Well, let's show you how this works. Okay, let's dive into this brand new feature on the Viofo A329S, multiplex video. Okay, so we're going to the multiplex video. And as you can see, I'm going to turn it to off. That way we can show you how the Viofo dash camera normally works in this mode. Now, if you already own a Viofo dash camera, then you're already going to know how you normally can get a front, rear, and interior video file. But for people who might be new to Viofo dash cameras, we want to show them exactly how this works. So I'm going to go to the external SSD and we're going to view the video files that are available on the dash camera. And as you can see, there's a separate front video file, separate interior video file, and separate rear video file. So now when I go back and I'm going to go into the settings on the Viofo A329S dash camera. And once we go directly into the settings, we're going to go back down to multiplex video. And when we go down to multiplex video, I'm going to change it to front and interior. So now it's going to take the front and interior video and sew it into one video file. So we're going to go back into live view mode and we're going to give it a few seconds to recording. That way it can create the separate multiplex video. So once we've given it a few seconds here, we're going to go directly back into the bottom left corner and view the video files that are on the external SSD. Keep in mind, you can do this on the SSD or the micro SD card. Now, when I look at the front video file is going to show me the front and interior video file all sewed together as one video file. So now you could just download the front and interior together, or if you go to rear, you can download the rear video file as a separate video file. So depending on your driving style or preference, you can actually change these settings. And now we're going to go directly into settings again, go into multiplex video, and we're going to change it to front and rear. So now what this will do is it will actually seam the front and rear video files together as one video download. So we're going to give it a few seconds in live view again. In order to actually create a video, always make sure the red button at the bottom there turns red from white. That way you know it is recording. So as we keep going, we're going to go directly and view video files again and go right back into the external SSD. And you'll see when we go here and click on the front video file again, we will actually click on the separate video, and you can see it's front and rear together as one video file. We go to interior, it's one separate video file as well. And now we're going to go right back into settings and go back to multiplex video again. I know it's a little monotonous, but realistically, I just want to make sure everybody fully understands how this feature works depending on your setup. So now when we go in here, we're going to change to front, interior, and rear. And once you actually change it to that setting, it will now put the front, interior, and rear video files together as one video file. So we're going to let it play for a few seconds here in live view mode again. That way it's gathering some footage. And then we're going to go back into the bottom left corner and view our external SSD. And once we click on the external SSD so we can view the video files, we're going to see that all three video files have been linked together into one video file under the front heading. And you can download that as one video file. I hope this is a very good explanation of how the new multiplex video works. If you actually feel that this is a video feature or a dashcam feature that you are after, the Viofo A329S, as far as I know, is the only one that offers this through the actual dash camera. If not, what we have to do is you have to download the three separate video files together as three separate video files, and then you have to use some sort of video editing program in order to actually put them together as one video file. Get the video evidence while driving that you've been missing with the new Viofo A329S telephoto camera add-on. As we drive here, you can see this Nissan Rogue is about 4 or 5 car lengths ahead of us, and the telephoto lens add-on zooms right in on the license plate and gets it clear as day as though it's right in front of you. Now, the benefit of actually having this style system is the telephoto lens will actually zoom in at 4 times zoom in order to actually get the license plates. However, if somebody was to hit you on the sides, you actually have the normal A329S front camera with 4K resolution that has wide viewing angle to get out the sides. And as we're rolling up to this intersection here, you can see the telephoto lens actually zooms in. Well, let's make a right and we're on the Las Vegas Strip. You can see Treasure Island on the right-hand side, and at top, the telephoto continues to zoom in on all the license plates. You can see the Honda Civic on the left-hand side that we're actually passing. You can see the license plate clear as day, 2629C8. And that is perfect. That's what we want out of the telephoto. This is a great combo, having the wide viewing angle at the front of the 4K resolution camera and the telephoto that can zoom in. And you can see the Toyota Highlander. You can see 395X00 on the left-hand side as well. And see the 4K camera down below is not picking it up. We're just too far away at this point in time. So, but as we get closer, let's say something was to happen where we're alongside this Highlander and they end up sideswiping us. Well, what'll end up happening is now we've already got that critical license plate information from earlier on as we were driving up to it. All sorts of crazy stuff happens, especially on the Las Vegas Strip. I know, I was there recently and I got cut off like 4 or 5 times. It was actually quite intense, the amount of cutoffs. So you can see the telephoto is getting this BMW X5's license plate clear as day. Take a look at your right and enjoy the show at the Bellagio Fountains. And as we continue driving, let me know, what do you think? Do you think this is a good investment to telephoto? Or do you think it's more of a gimmicky dash camera accessory? Love to hear your comments down below. Thanks again. This is the Viofo A329T. At the bottom, you can see the front 329S 4K camera recording at 30 frames per second. And at the top, we have the telephoto camera lens add-on, which has about 4 times zoom. Makes it a little bit easier for getting license plates. And as you've seen right at the beginning of the video there, that guy just randomly changed lanes mid-intersection. So as we keep going down the strip, you can kind of take a look at the top and see that how easy it is to get the license plates with the telephoto camera add-on. Enjoy the Viofo A329T as we continue to drive down the Las Vegas Strip at night. If you do have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Thanks again. Okay, so we have the HK6 and the HK4. Let's unbox these two so you can see the main differences. Let's start with the HK4. So we'll take it out of the box. So the main differences here is this is actually your low battery protection, which has the 11.8, 12, 12.2, 12.4 volts. And then it has your standard USB-C to plug in to the actual dash camera, and your red, yellow, and black, which is your power, ground, and ignition cables. Going over to the HK6. Take it out of the box here. And this is a little bit different. So as you can see, it actually has 2 cables, so you can actually unplug them now from the main module. And the main module actually has Bluetooth in it, which communicates with the A329S. It also can communicate with the A229 Ultra, A329T. So basically, as you can see here, there are little plugs. It can only plug in one way. So the 4-pin plugs in here, and the 3-pin plugs in there. And as you can see on this end, red, yellow, black, which is nice. Now you actually could extend these cords quite easily. You could also buy replacement clips probably if you find out exactly which clip of this is online. The low battery protection, as you can see right here, is actual different selector switch. So you can see there's the actual low battery protection settings, right? 11.8, 12, 12.2, and 12.4. Same as the other one. The difference is, like I said, these can actually unplug. And then you have your standard USB-C. So now let's see how it works and behaves when being plugged into an A329S and what the main differences are. So let's start with the Viofo HK4 hardwire cable. I'm going to plug it in at the top. This is where the GPS antenna is, as you can see right there. And we're going to let it power up. So as you can see, the dash camera powers up, and I'm going to go here directly into the settings by just tapping the record button, and it allows me to go to the on-screen display to allow me to change settings. I'm going to go to video settings and look for parking recording. I will go to vehicle battery protection, and I will go to cutoff voltage. And as you can see, when I hit cutoff voltage, it says no Bluetooth hardwire kits, ensure it is powered on. And the reason why it says that is because that function only works with the HK6. So if I go to cutoff timer, it'll allow me to actually select how much time I want while parked before it goes into low power impact detection. So if I set 2 hours because I want it to say, and I want to use hybrid parking mode, then I can actually select that I want it to do 2 hours of low bit rate, 2 hours of time lapse, or event detection. And then after the 2 hours, it'll go into low power impact detection. So I can go back, all the way back here. And I will go directly here into the recording mode. And if I actually put it into parking mode now, So now it's in parking mode. And some people are thinking that the A329S will now no longer have low battery protection because they're getting confused thinking that the A329S only gets low battery protection with the HK6. That's actually completely wrong because like I already showed you with the HK4, it already has low battery protection built into the cable. So now if I actually go and set this below the low battery protection setting on my tester, it will actually turn off. So there, I've now set it for below 12 volts. And now we should wait, and it should take approximately about a minute and a half for the dash camera to shut off due to low battery protection. So as you can see, the low battery protection was triggered and the dash camera shut off after about a minute and a half. So now let's show you how it works with the HK6. Okay, so now we're going to plug the HK6 in, and like I showed you already, we're going to plug it in at the top, and we're going to watch for it to power up.
Recording, one channel started.
You'll see discovered the hardwire kit. So it'll only come up like that if you're using the Bluetooth hardwire kit, which is the Viofo HK6. So really, what do you get? What's the big difference? Well, the difference is you're actually going to get voltage. Voltage will actually give you the readout on your embedded in your video. So if that is something that concerns you, then that's an added benefit. I don't really think a lot of people are worried about that. However, this is the major thing, extra thing that you get out of the HK6. So we're going to do exactly what we just did again. We're going to go into the video settings. We're going to go all the way to parking mode. Go to vehicle battery protection, but I'm going to do cutoff voltage again. And remember we tried it last time, it didn't work? Well, this time it worked. And now it gives me the option 12.4, 12.2, or 12 volts. So now I can actually set a cutoff voltage. So if it drops below that set voltage, it will automatically go into low power impact detection. So let's say I set it for 12.4 volts. Okay. I'm going to now go backwards here. We'll go to the parking mode. We're going to select hybrid parking mode. We're going to leave it in low bit rate. We'll go back. And it's going to start recording again.
Recording, one channel started.
Okay, and now what I'm going to do is put it into parking mode, and we're going to drop the voltage and see what ends up happening for the dash camera, changing over from low bit rate into low power impact detection.
Parking recording started.
So low bit rate has started. As you can tell, the LEDs are on to institute that it is in low bit rate parking recording. And now I've dropped it down to 12 volts, which is below the 12.4 volt voltage cutoff. And we're going to see it will go into low power impact detection. So we're just going to wait and see how long that is. I'm assuming it should take about a minute and a half because on average, that's typically what it takes in order to actually go into parking mode. So let's see just how long that takes. And as you can see there's no lights on it right now. The dash camera has gone directly into low power impact detection. So now if I tap it, see how it turns on? Because it's gone down to this low current draw, low power impact detection state. So this is basically what the extra added benefit is of the Viofo HK6. And now if I drop it even lower in voltage, below the actual low battery protection on the HK6, you'll see it completely turn off and power down. So we've dropped it down to 11.4 volts. I know a little extreme, but we want to make sure that this thing actually does shut off and the low battery protection works at both stages for the hardwire cable. So as you can see, about a minute and a half later, nothing, non-responsive, completely shut off. So that's the main difference between the Viofo HK6 and the Viofo HK4. So which one are you going to get? The HK4 or the HK6? Both of these are available on safedrivesolutions.com. And if you need it professionally installed, we're also available in Greater Vancouver or Greater Toronto area to install your Viofo dash camera. And we also have many packages available online where you can save $100 or more on buying a Viofo dash camera and getting them installed with a lot of the popular accessories. So what makes a great interior dash camera? Some might say I want it to record the entire interior. Maybe I want a fisheye lens like the A329S and the A229 Ultra offers. Or maybe you want it attached to the actual front camera like the 70mm, the Van True, and some of the other dash cameras that are on the market. Maybe you're concerned about the audio quality. Maybe the audio quality is very terrible on the dash camera and you want to make sure to have one that records good audio because you're an Uber or Lyft driver and you want to make sure it's recording every single detail in case an incident happens while you're driving with the passengers in your compartment. Or you could even just be worried about driving at night. Well, there's a lot of different things that happen inside your cab, and you have to make decisions on what interior camera works right for you. Okay, let's go over the current draw of the Viofo A329S. In normal driving mode, the A329S one channel is about 270 milliamps and 3.375 watts. In two channel, it's 400 milliamps and 5 watts. And in three channel, the most common configuration is going to be front, rear, and interior, is 630 milliamps and 7.875 watts. And I want to just draw your attention to a couple key areas here. One, low power impact detection. In one channel mode, it's 33 milliamps. The two channel mode, 39 milliamps, and three channel mode is 42 milliamps. So this is a huge progression for Viofo in parking mode because now they have the low power impact detection capability, which will last about 10 times longer than a lot of the other parking modes. And then we can look at low bit rate. In one channel, we're 230 milliamps, 350 milliamps, and 570 milliamps going from 1, 2, and 3 channel. And auto event detection is similar, and time lapse is just a little bit less, not by much, but the super night vision time lapse, which is only available 1 frame per second, is just a little tad bit lower in energy efficiency. But realistically, the main things to highlight here is the low power impact detection. Now, you might be wondering why I don't have the hybrid parking mode on here, and we won't have the hybrid parking mode on here because that's going to vary. If you are doing, let's say, low bit rate for 2 hours, that means you're going to have 230 milliamps per hour for the low bit rate, and then it's going to go into low power impact detection after the 2 hours. So you're going to have to figure out the math. It's going to be a little bit of fun trying to figure all of this stuff out if you are using hybrid parking mode. But here is the information on the most popular configurations. If you want even more information, I would recommend checking out Retro Car Guy's video or his blog on Dashcam Talk, where he has, I think, like 50 lines of code of every single configuration you can think of. The Viofo A329S has 4 different ways that you can actually download videos directly from it. Number 1, you can actually use your smartphone and pair it up via an app and using Wi-Fi technology to find the videos and download it directly to your phone. This is actually quite easy. Now, sometimes if a vehicle has Apple CarPlay or Android Auto that is wireless, it can cause some challenges. Please refer to our video on wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto to get around this in order to make it easier. Also, if you have Wi-Fi 6, it'll download even quicker than prior generations. Number 2, you can actually just take a USB-C cable to USB-C and you can plug it directly into your phone. So for instance, like my iPhone here, iPhone 17, iPhone 16, iPhone 15 have USB-C, and I can plug the dash camera directly in, and you can see it'll power up, and I go into the Files tab on my iPhone, and I can view the actual videos directly from the dash camera and copy them into my photos. If you have an Android device with USB-C, you can also do this with an Android device, and more Android devices have USB-C than iPhones, so this makes it even easier. You just need to make sure to have that cable. Now, this little short cable, which is about a foot long, does come in the box. Number 3, you can also take the USB-C cable here and plug it directly into your computer. So if your computer has USB-C, you can take it, plug this right in, and view the videos right on your computer quite easily. Number 4, you can actually take the SD card right out of the unit, slide it right into the adapter that comes with your Viofo SD card, which is sold separately, and then slide it right into your computer. Now, some computers don't have this, and you might need to buy an adapter like what I have here that I use on my MacBook. And as you can see, it supports a micro SD, and I can just plug it right in. That's the 4 different ways that you can actually download videos from a Viofo dash camera. The Viofo A329S also supports an SSD. It supports all the way up to 4 terabytes in storage. The SSD external significantly extends your camera's recording for days, allowing up to weeks of footage depending on your driving behaviors. The only thing is that actually continuously is starting to really piss me off is their continuous backpedal on which SSDs are supported on their dash camera. It's really starting to get irritating. I mean, they said the Samsung T-Shield works. Now it no longer does. Now they only have the SanDisk supported. So like realistically, Viofo, you need to actually start figuring out what's going on. If you're going to offer SSD support, then you need to actually say these ones work right out of the gate. Not these ones work out of the gate, and then 3 months later, hey, they no longer support the other 10 ones that we said it would support. Because it's starting to get a little ridiculous. It's time for you guys to actually take some accountability for what is going on and what is supported. Now, I do understand that there is some fraudulent and fakes that are out there as well on SanDisk, Samsung, and all of these SSDs. Everybody's doing some sort of knockoff. Same as like if I wanted to go buy a famous soccer jersey from one of my favorite teams, I'm sure I can find one for $15 online, but if I want the real authentic one, it's going to be $150 or $200. But I don't think a lot of our customers are buying like some, $20 SSD. They're typically buying a good quality SSD. So realistically, Viofo, my personal opinion when it comes to SSD, if you can't have some proper support for it or some reason on why you're not supporting those and communicating to your dealers, then you just shouldn't support SSD at all. Now, I do understand why you only support the Viofo SD card and the SanDisk Max Endurance, and that mainly has to do with write speeds. And a lot of people don't understand the bit rates on the Viofo dash cameras makes it be a lot more sensitive. Now, if that's what it is on this, but realistically, you guys had it before saying you actually supported all those other ones early on, and you've withdrawn them from your website. So that's all I got to say. It's time for you guys to actually, take some sort of ownership for the problems with the SSDs. Pros and cons. Great video quality day and night. Flexible parking modes added with low power impact detection and hybrid parking mode. They added a 2K interior camera or telephoto camera to the A329S, which is a huge upgrade over the A329. SSD capability. Multiplex video mode, which is great if you're like an Uber driver or somebody who wants all the videos interlaced together. For installers, they finally got rid of the bump on the hardwire cable. The HK6 has no bump, so it makes it easier to hide the wiring. And for do-it-yourselfers, you don't have to try and find a way to get that ferrite hidden away. There's 4 different ways that you can download videos on this dash cam, making it very easy for the end customer. The camera cables are very small when running from the front to the back or running an interior camera. If using 3-camera mode, you can enable or disable the interior camera for while driving or while parked to limit any kind of current draw. or for privacy issues as well. Cons. This is where it kind of gets a little wild. SSD support, it has it, but it has some challenges. Like right on the website, it actually says it'll support a 4 terabyte SSD, but yet on the recommended SSDs, it doesn't actually show a 4 terabyte SSD that they recommend using. Cutoff voltage on the HK6 should have higher voltage cutoffs. There's a lot of newer vehicles, still a small amount, that are coming with lithium batteries, and those vehicles are sitting at 14 volts. So if you have a 12.4 volt cutoff before it goes into low power impact detection, the battery's actually already dead at that. Now, keep in mind, it's a very small amount of vehicles that have this, but still electronically, you should update it to higher voltage cutoffs. And you should have, like, if you look at what like ThinkWare has, I think ThinkWare has ones at like 13.6, 13.4, 13.2, 13 volts. So there should be some higher voltage cutoffs for some of those oddball vehicles. This one here, I'm going to call it parking mode gate. I'm going to create a name for it because hybrid parking mode and low power impact detection modes. If I dismount it from the cradle to bring it in the house, so let's say I get home, I dismount it from the cradle, I want to bring it in and view videos. And when I get back into the vehicle, if I put it back onto the mount without the ignition being powered up, hybrid parking mode and low power impact detection will completely reset and you no longer have any parking mode. So you have to go back into the settings and turn it on. But yet, if you put it on like low bit rate, time lapse, auto event detection, the ones that have been around for years, it won't do this. It'll actually save those settings. And this is something that we think Viofo should fix. Now, I understand it needs to see the HK6 cable, and there is like some challenges with that. Also, the HK4 cable, which also works, but it needs to see that cable with ignition on. But it's only in low power impact detection and hybrid parking mode that this is becoming an issue. And this is something that we recommend fixing. And even on the new beta firmware that we're testing with some of the new upcoming features, this problem still exists. Voice control is falsely triggered. I don't really even talk about voice control anymore. I actually turn it off for all my clients because typically you're listening to music or talking on the phone and this thing's being triggered all the time. So realistically, I don't really think voice control is working that well. And maybe it needs to have a trigger word like Viofo lock video or something along those lines, right? Because right now it falsely goes off way too much while driving and it's not really effective. CPL filter confusion. Now, I really think I love you guys at Viofo, but honestly, the CPL filter confusion on the A329S is not really that desirable. You know, if you buy a 2-channel system, then you need a CPL 500. If you buy the 3-channel system, now you need a CPL 600. If you end up buying the rear camera add-on separately, you're going to need a CPL 600. If you buy the telephoto, you're going to need a CPL 600. This probably sounds very confusing because it is. Because they basically had 2 different runs of rear cameras. And some people think, oh, there's vents on them. And the vents is what's actually causing extra heat sink. And it's a better quality. No, it was just 2 different runs. They still just had, it's the same rear camera as the A329. They just had a whole bunch of those still left over. And everybody wanted the new A329S. So they just literally took that production and packaged them in all the 2-channel packages. But the problem is some people have bought online from Viofo, and because the customer buys, let's say, the 329S 3-channel and clicks, boom, CPL 500, they're shipping the CPL 500. And then the CPL 500 doesn't work because they need a CPL 600. I know, as I continue talking, this probably sounds very confusing. When you do order from us, we catch it, right? So we always try to make sure that the customer gets the right thing, the right CPL filter. But the thing is it shouldn't be this confusing. But it is. It is still the same rear camera, but the housing's just a little bit different. So anyways, it's just something to think about that unfortunately is a con because it just is a little confusing. Low power impact detection. If you use the normal cutoff timer in the unit, it doesn't work. So not at all. So which means low power impact detection will stay on forever until the low battery protection kicks in. Now, some people might think this is awesome because they probably want it to work forever. But the whole thing is you have this setting that's called cutoff timer, and it doesn't work when you're using low power impact detection. This, my personal opinion, is something that should be changed. And I understand why they're doing it because some of the other competitors are doing that, right? For instance, Vioroid. But when you're drawing 1 or 2 milliamps of current, it's not really a big deal to not have to worry about that because the Vioroid could sit there for 2, 3, 4 weeks on 2 milliamps of current and you don't have to worry about that killing your battery because your vehicle computer is drawing anywhere from 15 to 50 milliamps of current depending on your vehicle just sitting there. So drawing 2 milliamps of current is nothing. It's not even being worried about it. However, the Viofo, as we've seen, is drawing, anywhere from like 32 to 42 milliamps. It's a little bit higher. So I personally would like to see a cutoff timer added in. Maybe they need to add cutoff timer options of like 24 hours, 48, 72, maybe some different timelines. But either way, it's something that I would like to see happen. Because, like I said earlier, the cutoff voltage in the hardwire cable is too low. So if you get a couple of these newer vehicles that have lithium batteries, for instance, that are sitting at 14 volts, and all we got is a 12.4 volt cutoff, well, that battery will be dead at 12.4 volts. So you just need to be careful with these types of things. And that's why I'm so big on the cutoff timer. The cutoff timer typically eliminates a lot of these challenges, right? So is it the end of the world? No, the low power impact detection will probably be fine. Most vehicles, if you're driving every day, you're not going to really be affected by this. But some people are working from home, and I know some of my customers literally are like, I drive like 3 days a week. That's it. Well, if you don't drive much, you could possibly end up having some challenges down the road. Some upcoming new features that Viofo is going to have on their new firmware. They're going to have a new parking geofence feature, which if you haven't heard, the Vioroid S1 was the first company to actually introduce this. We are currently kind of testing it, so we'll see kind of how it goes. But realistically, what happens is if you come home and it sees that you're at home and your geofenced area, the parking mode will fully turn off. And people have always been asking for this because I don't want it to be recording while it's in my garage. I don't want it to be working at all. I only want it to work when I'm at work or when I'm going out shopping. Well, now this new parking geofence feature, which we're going to see in upcoming firmwares, is going to be something coming out soon. They're also going to be support backing up files to the SSD for low power impact detection, but everybody's kind of heard my rant on SSD, so I guess we'll see how that goes. They're also going to be adding voice and screen notifications of impacts while parked. Now, a lot of the Korean manufacturers, when you get back in the vehicle, they'll actually say,
An impact was detected during parking recording.
you had 1 impact, 2 impacts, whatever, while you were parked. And so Viofo is looking to add that in. We have been testing it for a while. I can see some people are really going to want this. I'm really not a fan of this feature. I find it just has too many false alerts on all the different various dash cams. I find more people usually ask me to turn it off than on. My final thoughts on the Viofo A329S. We've had dash cameras out in the field, I think it's 4 or 5 months now. It has been fairly reliable. We haven't had a whole lot of negative feedback. As you can tell by my cons list, there's a couple things that I would like addressed. And that's kind of why I like putting this out on YouTube, is to kind of push the manufacturer to get some of these changes done. Even though we're talking in the background about this and trying to pressure them into it, kind of makes it a little bit better when it's public and maybe some customers start asking for it as well. So Anyways, needless to say, if you're looking for a good dash camera that has good balance of parking mode and good video quality, and you want to have the option of like interior camera, telephoto, and crazy versatility as opposed to every other dash camera on the market, the Viofo A329S might be the dash camera for you. Now, it lacks obviously not having cloud features, LTE, some of those things, but honestly, we find that like 99.9% of customers are not using any of those features at all. They don't want like monthly plans. They want a dash camera to go in the vehicle and they want it to record while driving, and they want to have the capability of recording while parked. So needless to say, the Viofo A329S is a great option if you are looking for a dash camera with the feature sets that we showed in this video. And if you do have any questions or comments, definitely leave them down below. We'll be happy to answer them here for you. And if you are looking to support us at all, we are located in Greater Vancouver and Greater Toronto, Canada. We do offer professional dash camera installations, and you can save money by packaging a dash camera with installation by just contacting us directly for a quote. Thanks again. Cheers.